Be alone. What do those words do to you? Especially if you're someone who's come out of an emotionally abusive and neglectful relationship, who was raised in an emotionally neglectful and abusive environment. Those words, be alone. Someone gives you those words as words of advice and tells you, you just need to be alone for a while. Woo! What does that trigger within you? You'll hear that, you'll see that, you'll be told that. Be alone. Really get to know yourself, be comfortable with yourself being alone so that you can know who you are. And only from that place of knowing who you are should you be in a relationship with another. Otherwise, you're going to be so dependent on them to complete you, as if you're not a complete person yourself and you're looking for someone to complete you. They complete me. What do those words, be alone, do to you when you hear them, when you see them, when you read them? What do you feel inside your body? What's being triggered? What's being tightened? What's being constricted? What's being repelled? Do they make you sick and feel like you want to throw up? The word be alone. Advice to heal. My least favorite word on this planet, advice. Because you are your own unique person, and advice is what should work for you from someone else, but you're not them and they're not you, so how could they know? And so many times when you're told what you should do, that's triggering. And you're told you should be alone. Eat alone. Take yourself on dates. Sleep alone. And in the midst of this, you'll learn about yourself. What if in the midst of that, you were so triggered that your trauma gets deeper roots because you've always had to eat alone, because your parents, your original caregivers, your lover, the one who was out cheating on you, using you, abusing you, left you alone. And they made you eat alone. What if you prepared dinner for them and they didn't come home? And you thought this was going to be the dinner. I made their favorite dinner. They're going to come home. We're going to connect. And we're going to have that future that I have dreamed of and desired and held on to with hope that it's going to get better. And they left me alone. They abandoned me. And now I'm left eating alone. How many nights have you had to eat alone where you just prayed for a partner, prayed for this relationship to work out? How many nights did you eat alone as a kid because you were sent to your room because you were in trouble? How much was being alone used as a form of punishment against you? Take yourself on dates. You probably do. It's probably called the fast food restaurant, drive-through for fast food. Drive-through for fast food. Because you don't dare step inside. You don't want to be seen alone. Oh, look at this person. They're eating alone, surrounded by other people who are with other people, who are smiling and laughing and having conversations and making connections, and you're there alone, and you're supposed to call that a date and feel good about it. Oh, sleep alone. I can't tell you how many nights when I was in a relationship with a narcissist that I slept alone, glued to my phone because he wasn't answering, wouldn't pick up, but would text, "What's up?" And I would panic and call and call and call, and he would turn his phone off. So for a long time, sleeping alone was a massive trigger. It triggered old wounds from childhood, deep abandonment, deep rejection wounds. So sleep alone to get to know yourself. Now I can, and I love it. That's because I've done the inner work to truly transform and heal those wounds so that now being alone is not a trigger. And I'm never alone. I'm with myself. There's a big difference. And language is so powerful. And language makes all the difference in your thoughts and how you feel and the internal unconscious beliefs you have about yourself. So if that trigger word and advice that's supposed to help, be alone, hurts you, starts to sense a panic and fear inside of you, and you realize, I don't have good relationships, but I got a number of people I can call. Yeah, I know they just want one thing from me, but at least I'm not alone. Let me go hang out with them. because you're running from getting to know yourself, running from those internal fears, running from those internal triggers that you feel that are deeply rooted in the pain of being alone. But that's where you're told that you'll grow and you'll figure out. You'll figure out yourself. You'll figure out what inspires you. You'll cultivate and curate your dreams. How are you going to do that when that space is filled with fear, when that space is filled with triggers, when that space is filled with inner unhealed wounds that run deep? That fear of being alone is supposed to be the best advice you can receive. But in being alone, you'll stumble on clarity, right? You might feel like you're doing a lot of stumbling and there's no clarity. Yet that's all you dream of. That's all you desire. And you feel like it's so far from you and you don't know which road to go down to get to that clarity that you want to feel, embody, and be. But you're told to just be alone. It'll come. Oh, you don't have it yet? Just stay alone longer. And then when you do meet that person who makes you dance, you'll be sure of it because you're sure of yourself. I can assure you of one thing. Being alone is not the answer. It's not the answer that you're looking for because it triggers those deeply rooted fears. And you will get into a relationship until you've done that powerful inner unconscious work to heal and transform your life. You will get out of being alone much too soon, just so that you're not. And you will find that person that you feel is the one because you're coming from a place of trauma. Your trauma matches their trauma. Oh, you're my soulmate. You rush it. It happens way too soon. Oh, another narcissistic relationship. And you will feel so sure of yourself. This one is different. This one is the one. I know it. They're so different from the last one. I've had enough time alone, but time alone is just alone time. Time alone doesn't transform you. It often triggers you, and you will run from your triggers because they hurt. They're deeply connected to inner wounds from the past. And until you transform those and completely heal those, you will always feel that you will always be alone. And that's not good advice. It is, but it isn't. You can't heal in the same environment that's making you sick. And sometimes you need space and you need to be with yourself. But there's a very, very big difference in the language and the words that you're using and the response that your body, heart, and mind has to them. Being alone is very different than being with yourself. So I invite you, if you feel like you're ready to connect so that you can transform and heal from those inner wounds. And maybe that's one of the biggest fears you have is the fear of being alone. And you want to get to that place where you fiercely say, I love being with myself. And until I find someone who's so much better to be with than being with myself, because you love yourself, you love spending time with yourself, you love getting to know yourself, express yourself, do things with yourself that heal you, that empower you, that allow you to be the best version of you that you can be. And until you meet someone who matches that and makes you even better, elevates you even more, you may find that you go back to those old wounds and triggers and ways, all because you don't want to be alone. So you settle. And in your settling, you settle in misery, you settle in discomfort, you settle in future heartbreak. Because in an unhealthy relationship, you're alone, but you're not alone, and that's worse than being alone. But when you're ready to do that deep transformational work to heal from within, I'd love to connect. Got different ways to do that, and you can find out more information in the links in the description below this video.